loving, same-sex partners, to transgender issues, to hating your body so much that you're willing to sell it. It pretty much does it with superb acting. And of course, yes, you take a look at the cast that won, you take a look at Zendaya, you take a look at the people that show up for this, one of the hardest television shows for young people to actually act. And it points to what you're talking about today. Because we're living in a world right now where we're judging ourselves, Martine, right? We're on social media, just judging, just being the judging, right?
Yeah.
We're criticizing ourselves because we don't fit into that pointed shoe that has a 6-inch heel. And I want to ask you this question. This has got to be a topic that has hit your heart so sharply that you have become a warrior champion for this. Thank you for taking it on, and tell us about where this is in your heart. Thank you for joining me today. I know it was a long introduction, but there's so much now out there about this. And when you start to see our pop culture rise up and award people for taking on the hard issues around body and identity, do you think we're making progress there? I don't know what to say about that.
Oh gosh, I hope that big change is coming, because it's been a lifelong issue for me. And thank you for mentioning all this, like Euphoria and all that. I've actually never seen it, but I've heard about it, and it's going to be, I'm going to start watching that, especially if it has so much to do with, just the way you've been talking about Imogen and all that. And, it calls to mind, and I've said this many times on my show, I have some friends who have a business called Don't Let the Selfies Fool You, because what people are putting out there is a lot of the times, much of the times, most of the time, not really what's going on. I have had like a love-hate relationship with myself my whole life. I had an eating disorder from 11 to about, well, not long ago. It wasn't even in the past year. I may not be doing what I did, binging, purging, that kind of thing, but such a fear of food, fear of what it's going to do to me. My dad used to tell me that I was too fat, and I was really at the time 124 pounds. 124 pounds. You're too fat, and no man's ever going to want you.
Oh my God. My sister went through the same thing, and she was drop dead gorgeous.
I bet she was.
I mean, don't you want to cry?
Yes. Yes. When I think about even just my young self and taking that in, and how that spurred on a lifelong fear, and one that I've worked a lot on myself, but I was so ashamed. I brought that to my kids. I did. I brought it into their lives. I was worried that they'd be too fat. I was worried that, that they would hate themselves. I was worried that people would pick on them like I was picked on. And things have changed a lot since we were growing up, yet it's almost worse in some ways because of social media, because of all the stuff that's out there, and just bullying that happens not only in the school, but cyberspace too.
It is by far. There are three things I've looked at recently. One, the whole landscape and future of my show. And I follow what the audience wants, our listeners. When I get emails from our listener, or I get a snail mail or a call, we get calls or comments.
Yeah.
And they say to me, when are you going to do the Power Up show again? And I realize that I don't have a good reason for not doing it. I can come up with them. But we come up with the same reasons for not acknowledging our bodies, but the same reason we feel compelled to criticize other people. I can only look, you and I come from kind of the same place. If you grow up, now I grew up in a family where both of the female, my mom who died, my stepmom, she would have none of that. But my dad and was always critical of my sister. And it was so painful for me to watch. She tried her entire life to please him, and it was never going to happen. He was not that guy. And I'm so glad I'm more like my mom.
Yeah.
I don't even look like my dad. Yay! No, my dad was stunningly handsome. I mean, honestly, he married my stepmom when he was like 20 something, and my sister was a little bit older and a little bit younger. But the point is, he thought this was funny. He thought teasing my sister Joyce about never looking enough. Now, can you imagine being my stepsister Joyce and Doris, both beautiful blondes? My stepmom was drop dead gorgeous, as I said, but beyond that, she was a beautiful woman.
Mm-hmm.
Joyce, beautiful curly blondish hair, crisp green eyes, the gorgeous mole, the what's her face Crawford mole.
Oh, yeah.
And on the inside, she was darling to the day she died from cancer, from cocaine. And I thought, was there anything I could have done more to help? Should I have stayed closer to the family? But can we talk about the pain and trauma that comes from that? And we're here today to give people solutions as well, aren't we?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of pain of not being able to please, like your sister and her father, your father. I think I started to heal a bit more with my dad for the fact now that he only has the capacity to give what he can give, and it may have been the same with your dad. He only had the capacity to give a certain amount to her, to you. My dad was unwanted. He was told that he was the biggest mistake that his father ever made. He was told that I married your mother because I didn't think she could have kids. So in retrospect, as I get older, I kind of see some of the reasons why he treated me the way he did. He didn't have anything better to offer. And my dad is alive today. Still, he's 86 years old. He'll probably outlive me. But I sometimes it's like I still find myself that little girl, like wanting to please him. And if I go to visit him, it's like I go to my closet and like, what, and this is crazy, but I would go to my closet and find out what is the thing that makes me look the thinnest. And I'm not really an overweight person, but I'm not an overweight person, but I still have that image like, okay, if I look really good, he'll be more happy with me. And then it's like, you know what? You just be you. You are fine yourself. And he has the capacity to give what only he can give. Like he sent me flowers for Mother's Day out of the blue. That's something he can offer, you know? So I take what he can give me, and then I give myself what I need.
Yeah. What did you find when let me ask this question, because today we're talking about this gratitude, move into a place of gratitude for the beauty of this vessel, right? The vessel that houses our soul. I think that's what you call it. I love that phrase, Martiné. I love it. And for those of you just tuning in, Martiné Emmons is my beautiful, beautiful guest. But I want to tell you, her show, Transformation with Martiné, it rocks beyond. And I want to make sure that you all have that information. Can we take a moment and get everybody to your website? Let's do that, because I'm going to skip the break. So let's get everybody over there if you could.
To www.martineemmons.com. Thank you so much, Dr. Pat.
Yeah.
You can find my podcast on there and all kinds of good information. I'm a transformational life coach and have teaching NLP since 2014, and I love every minute of it.
Don't you love NLP? We'll have to, why don't you and I do a show on NLP and really tell people what it is? Okay, let's you and I we'll get Linda involved in that. But today we're going to talk about the body, because here we are. Here's the question. What was the tipping point for you? Because this is interesting for me. I had an epiphany about when I appreciated and loved my body. And then here recently, I fell out of love. Is that like an Air Supply song? Oh, yeah. But when did it hit you? When did it shift for you? Can you remember that? Was there a moment where you're like, I am done not liking my body and who I am? What happened?
You know, Dr. Pat, I've had a few different times, honestly. It's
Cool.
like when I want to say I was about 24 years old when I realized, you know what? If I keep purging, something's going to happen here, or I'm not going to be able to have kids. It's like something came in, like God was talking to me, the universe was talking to me, however we want to look at it, God or universe, however anybody believes, was talking to me like, you know what, this has to stop. Now, it didn't mean that the self-loathing stopped or any of that, not so much. I've done much more healing since then. But then when I had my first baby, I'm like, oh my gosh, my body made this baby. That was another layer. Like, you know what? This body takes good care of you. And then when I got cancer in 2014, it's like, whoa, okay. Can't believe this is happening. This is out of my parents' 3 kids. I'm the third one to get cancer, different types. I had colon cancer. And that was another thing. When I got the healing diagnosis in 2015, and I have had no problems since then, wow, my body rocks. This is pretty amazing. My body looks after me. And what I was talking to you about right now, something else is happening to me now, which my dermatologist, we had come up with one diagnosis, and then when the treatment didn't work, it turns out, and I will get a firm diagnosis next week when I see a specialist, but I have vitiligo. And to me, this is terrifying.
Yeah.
I don't know if the audience, if you don't know what it is, I am still learning what it is. It's an autoimmune condition. It's where your body doesn't produce enough melanin, and you start to get almost these patches on your body. And I was really scared to come on and talk about this, but I know it needs to, because it's becoming more and more. And this set me back big time. This has been going on for about a year, and we thought other things were going on. But now that it looks like this might be it, I was just like, okay, what else is going to happen to me? I'm just being honest here. I'm just being real. What else is going to happen to me here? Come on, body. What is going on? Why do I have this now too? And then I thought, you know what? She's telling me something's wrong. I got to listen. So now I don't like it. It's scary.
Yeah.
And I have compassion for me.
Man.
She's talking to me. I got to listen. Oh, I got to listen. She's been telling me for a while, and I guess she had to get me by my vanity that she needs some support.
See, I love that you're sharing this. You know, I have to tell you, I really give credit to this audience. This is the best audience. This is a 20-year audience. Yes. And I have to give credit to them. And not only this audience that started with me 20 years ago, but the audience that's built. All of you, I don't even know where you're emailing us from, but we're listening. And here's what I love about what you shared. I didn't learn this till later on. Benny will tell you. I used to come into the studio, right there at the studio, and where Benny is. I used to come in every day, and I was in pain. But I grew up with this notion of just suck it up. You don't have to tell people. People don't want to hear you complaining. But it changed the direction of my life. You know, how is your healing journey and what you're discovering about renewed love for yourself and your body? How does that help shape you, Martiné? And the reason I'm asking the question is because the way it shaped me was so that it changed the entire trajectory of the show. You know, the show went from, the show's always going to be fun, but it went to really address what people are going through in body, mind, spirit, soul. Yeah. And I was a student. I knew nothing about this, and I had a mystery disease. And the only way I got help was the angel lady told me to look up T3, and I happened to find Dr. Nusheen Darvish. Hello, everybody. drdarvish.com. Right here, if you live in this area, this is the woman that saved my life, along with another conventional doctor, Dr. Overman, kicking and screaming at each other, but they did it, along with a whole lot of other people. But for you, can you find purpose in this journey?
Mm.
Now, it took me 10 years for me to open my mouth and tell the audience what I was going through. But I think after a while, when they heard me talk about chronic Lyme disease and a whole bunch of other chronic stuff, I think they figured it out. Smart audience. But how about you? Are you shape shifting?
Yes. For those of you that don't know, my show has been called, Conquer Everything, Compromise Nothing. So now we're at a whole new level here. It's like, I want everybody to know that no matter what, man, you can get through it. I'm proof, you're proof. I just wrote a post about it today that actually I haven't put it out there yet. But if we go over the evidence of our lives, right? Like, I remember just a silly little story, and this isn't a health thing, but I wanted this. I was about 26, 27. So yeah, about 27 years old. I wanted this sports car so bad, right? I made enough money for it. I made enough money to qualify for financing for it, all that. But no matter what I did, I could not get the sports car. My gosh, dang it. Okay. I'm disappointed. A week later, I found out I was pregnant. A 2-seater car would not have been the thing to have. So I got a more family type car, still a bit sporty, but 4-seater that held my husband, that was going to hold our new baby girl. So it's not a health thing, but it's evidence that good things can happen. It's evidence that things are being worked out for you, right? I have evidence of making it through cancer. I have evidence of falling on black ice and shattering my whole arm here, surgery and a long recovery time. I have no trouble moving any parts of me, and I have no pain. I know that what's going on with me now, against all odds, I believe I'm going to beat it. I see myself beating it. I want everybody to know you can. If you just look over the trajectory of your life, all the things that you have overcome already, all the things that you've already accomplished already, you can beat it. You can conquer it. You can overcome it. You can have a successful business. You can have whatever you want. And what I like to say is, or better.
Yeah.
God or the universe will give you something better if you don't get what you actually want, because you can. You just have to see it yourself in there. You have to see yourself healing. You have to see yourself being successful in business. You have to see yourself living on the ocean, like I'm always picturing myself. You have to see yourself healing, and in doing this, in thinking those good thoughts, it also just like it gives you this love and appreciation for your own beautiful vessel.
Yeah.
And what it's brought you through in this whole life, through all your overcomings and through all your successes. She or he is right there with you.
Yeah.
I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, it did. Oh, of course it did. And, it takes me to the next view about it. I want to take a short break.
Mm-hmm.
When we come back, we're talking for everybody out there. Look, if you want some help with this right now, please feel free to give us a call. 1-800-930-2819. Gratitude for this beautiful vessel we call our bodies. And, what's fascinating about it is we tend to leave this sort of to the last. But how do we learn to use that inner wisdom to tap in to what is my body trying to tell me? Mm-hmm. What is my body saying to me? What is it about this that I can learn? And when we come back, Martine is going to share, her inspired hope, what she does in working with others so that they can feel that there is hope. There's nothing more painful for those of us that have been there, Martine, right? Mm-hmm. Than feeling hopeless and helpless. When we come back, she's going to walk us through why you can too move away from that into hope and trust and transformation, because that's what she does. Transformation with Martine. When we come back, doesn't matter if you had an eating disorder or not. Maybe like me, you got 2 surgeries during COVID, you got put on a medication that you didn't understand the side effect. And all of a sudden your body just blocks everything. Let's take a short break. When we come back, how do we go from where you are and eliminate the roller coaster ride and step into the full embodiment of that beautiful, beautiful vessel you have? Martiné is going to walk us through there, everybody. Let's take a short break, Benny. We'll be right back.
All clear.
Your own innate brilliance already lives inside of you. Come discover it so you can shine brightly in this world. Join me, your host, Adrienne Cobb, Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, during Wild Magic on TransformationTalkRadio.com, and get answers to who you are and where you belong. To learn more about me and the show, visit MyWildMagic.com. Again, that's MyWildMagic.com.
In body, in power, in soul. Activate the spirit within you in deep conversations of power, faith, grace, love, and forgiveness. On Soul-Inspired Reflections, Ascension, a humble awakening of the heart. Join me, your host, Gina Libido, every second Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com. And find that even the chaos of your world makes